75 feet, fully engulfed in flames.
As you can tell from the title, we are here watching Kill Count Jason versus Freddy. Oh, is it Freddy versus Jason? I'm not sure. Recount. So I'm guessing he did a video already over this movie, counting the counts already, like the death counts, but it's a recount. So I'm just intrigued to just see how this goes.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Freddy vs. Jason, released in 2003. In our modern age of crossovers and shared universes, it's difficult to overstate how cool it is this movie got made.
This movie is so cool. It's so tough. I fuck with this movie.
But that was half a century prior. In 2003, dream matchups between iconic characters were still mostly relegated to comic books. This was a big budget showdown between the Dream Demon of Springwood and the hockey masked machete man from Crystal Lake. It was an event.
But I just know back in the day they were excited. Like I can't even imagine. This is 2003, so I wasn't alive. I wasn't even alive around this time. So this is like a year before. But I know if I was 14, maybe 12, 13, maybe 10, 17, maybe 10 and higher, I probably would have been excited for this movie, bro. Freddy vs. Jason. This movie is tough, bro. This movie is tough. Cause I've heard like all the fucking lore that people was talking about. I mean, not the lore, but the story. Kind of like the story lore. I don't really know. But around the time of people were talking about Freddy vs. Jason, and I'm pretty sure that was the talk of the day around that time. Cause I'm pretty sure there was Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, and people were just trying to pit them together, just like. So who gonna win? Who would win? And who would win? They effortless conversations after hours and hours and hours. And then finally the trailer probably dropped and people were just like, yo, we gotta watch this shit. Imagine being in high school around this time and this shit come out. Back in the day, movies was peak. Movies still kind of peak sometime, but like, bruh. Back in the day, movie theaters was fucking peak, bruh.
And so monumental, they held a weighing in at the Vegas Bally's a month before the premiere.
What's the matter? Just speak for yourself.
See, like this is tough.
The owners of these two horror titans had been trying to make some form of Freddy vs. Jason since the late 80s. After 15 years, the movie had become the bastard child of 100 rewrites. 18 drafts were done by 12 screenwriters, some featuring a cult of so-called Fred heads, some with even weirder shit. You don't want to know. Mark Swift and Damian Shannon finally came up with a premise that didn't suck. Freddy has lost his powers because the kids of Springwood have forgotten who he is. To make them remember him, he resurrects Jason from hell and sends him on a killing spree. Then, like so many other evil masterminds, he loses control of his subject and the two go head to head. Freddy vs. Jason found
he just killing motherfuckers.
Stokely Chaffin, a longtime horror fan who produced I Know What You Did Last Summer and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, but she did not produce I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer, so she cool. After meeting with dozens of directors, she hired Hong Kong-born Ronnie Yu. Yu wasn't super familiar with either series, but had just directed Bride of Chucky. He imagined Freddy vs. Jason as a pro wrestling-like event with two larger-than-life figures going all out against him.
That nigga was tossing him around.
That there's enough blood.
Jason's so him.
Succeeded in that.
Jason's so tough.
And others. Everything involving Freddy and Jason is great. They each get to shine in their own segments that feel tailored towards their types of terror. You have nightmare supernatural creepy stuff and scenes with senseless slaughter. Great. Even better is that the two of them square off multiple times, each bout better than the last. You grew up a comic book fan, which infiltrates the visual language of the film. He's an imaginative guy who could mentally storyboard his movies, and he has a lot of fun with colors. Aside from the annoying low frame rate slow motion, which I hate,
I remember that part.
He made a great looking film. But you wasn't
he was spitting water out.
Working with his actors, a mix of Americans and Canadians, since this was filmed in Vancouver. Their parts are poorly written, and their lack of direction is clear. I don't need all these meatbags to have rich, in-depth backstories, but at least make them somewhat likable. The folks running around here are just annoying. And don't say it doesn't matter because this is a slasher. We've seen plenty of likable characters in many Friday and Nightmare films.
Facts.
I think these jerks are more just a product of their time. The early 2000s had a nasty cynicism, and that nihilistic sarcasm bleeds through here. One last note, this movie's got flashing and strobing lights constantly, so maybe avoid this video if that's gonna affect you.
Yo, avoid this video if you are very sensitive to, you know, epileptic stuff, you know, just flashing lights and shit like that, strobe lights and stuff. I don't, you know, I wouldn't want anybody, you know what I mean. You know what I mean, right? Okay.
The movie begins in a boiler room, because Freddy's first build in this battle. He also gets first kill, this poor little girl he murders off
That
screen.
ass.
Hey, what you doing with that picture, dude? This ain't the Nightmare remake yet. Please stop. He narrates his origin, like how he was killed by angry parents, though he does leave out that his powers came from a deal with dream demons. I want it all!
Of course you do.
Then open up.
And you shall be
Forever.
Why wouldn't you mention that, Fred?
Wow.
Freddy's become powerless because kids have forgotten him, and to make them remember, he's gonna wake Jason up from hell. Best way to do that is with a whole lot of naked lady flesh, provided here by Odessa Monroe.
This movie?
Very same year.
I hope he don't show nothing crazy, bro. This movie was insane, rated R. I'm not gonna lie. This was hella graphic. I'm not even gonna lie. This shit was
She
crazy.
flashed her boobs on a motorcycle in Final Destination 2. Big year.
Final
for the
Destination
boobs.
2
The
was-
maniacal memory
yeah.
plan works, and Jason chases Heather into the woods before killing her with a machete stab that pins her to the tree. And Heather, you only count as one kill. Don't try that face morphing thing to inflate the stats. Yes, I'm counting Heather, even though she's a dream, just like Jason's mom is a dream. It's Pamela Voorhees, played by Paula Shaw. Betsy Palmer was offered the role, but said the dialogue sucked too much.
You promised me you'd kill all those people.
I'm an actress, for God's sake. Don't give me some dumb line like that.
Pamela directs Jason to get up and
Kill
the kids
them,
of Elm
Jason.
Street. It'll really help him.
I fucking love that
and
game.
By mother, I mean Freddy.
And
Playing
then
Freddy
him.
Krueger for his 8th feature film was Robert Englund, of course, the man synonymous with the
8th
character.
featured film.
And honestly, who wouldn't want Englund hanging around?
It's hard to get your motivation when he's being so nice all the time.
When it came to Jason,
I don't think I should be
Kane
watching
Hodder
this.
seemed
Jason just
equally
talking?
obvious to Friday fans and Sean S. Cunningham. But New Line kept Cunningham distant from the project, in part because of Jason X's failure. Hodder also suffered from association with his Friday films, which were usually regarded as pretty bad. Additionally, director Ronnie Yu said he wanted his Jason to have expressive eyes. Whereas Freddy was pure evil, the audience could get emotionally invested in Jason. So maybe Hodder's rage-filled murder machine that sometimes veered into humor didn't appeal to the director. I've heard people blame Yu, while he and others blame nameless studio
Also,
execs.
this is what I mean. I'm telling you, movies from like 2000 to 2010, no, 2000 to 2000, maybe 19, maybe 17. I'm telling you, the graphics were insane, bro. I'm telling you, the graphics were insane. I can't really say too much about the CGI, but the graphics was insane. They were in their bag, bro. Making Friday the 13th, the 2007 one, the Rob Zombie Halloweens. I'm telling you, bro, they were in their fucking bag. And I'm pretty sure there's a Nightmare on Elm Street that came around this time as well. I'm not sure though.
Use Kane Hodder.
Final Destination,
Really
Saw.
had nothing to do with Ronnie.
But at
Chucky,
the end of the day,
they were in
I
their
just feel
bag.
bad that Hodder didn't get to be a part of this moment, especially after publicly advocating for the crossover for years.
I really wish I had been able to do it.
Instead of Hodder, Jason was played by 6'5" Canadian Ken Kersinger, a stunt coordinator in his own right and occasionally an actor.
6'5"?
We saw him as
Damn.
Tom Mutant in Wrong Turn 2. Kersinger had played a New York cook manhandled by Jason in Takes Manhattan, where he also doubled for Hodder as Jason in 2 shots, getting hit by a car, and I think when they did the third rail bit in the subway tunnel. While I don't like this Jason sad droopy eye, I think Kersinger does well reinventing the character. Gone is Hodder's heavy
Look at these
chest flexing
graphics.
and moving his head before his body. This Jason would be new, and to prove it, you gave him a new hockey mask. This one's browner, has cheek chevrons again, and is free of the Chris Higgins axe mark. Jason heads to Elm Street and the most famous house
But
on the
Jason
block,
looks
inside
tough.
of
He
which
looks
a bunch of
menacing.
teens are drinking, smoking, and lasciviating.
That's what we need.
Lori, who lives here, is trying to ignore this Blake bloke.
You know about feng shui?
She doesn't get help from her friend Kia, played by Kelly Rowland during Destiny's Child's 3-year hiatus. Blake was brought here by his bro Trey, the super douchey boyfriend to Lori's friend Gib.
Oh, babe. Tell you about kissing me after you smoked, huh? Babe, you make me ask you twice.
Babe, you know I don't like to be touched after, okay?
Hey,
Babe.
no touchy. Jason appears in the bedroom and kills Trey by stabbing him about 10 times with a machete. Impressively,
I remember
Trey
this
holds
scene,
on
yeah.
to his beer the whole time. Good job,
Somehow.
Trey. Spoke too soon. Babe, you know
Yo.
I can only sleep when I'm shaped like a bee.
Folded
The kids
his
run
ass.
screaming until they find the police. The older cops recognize the Freddy Krueger house and try to keep his name under wraps. They fail, and Lori overhears them, then repeats the name to herself as she falls asleep at the police station. That's basically an express pass to Nightmareville, USA. Population, a bunch of creepy kids on missing child posters, and one little
I'm pretty
girl
sure people
who ain't
around
got
this
no
time was
eyes.
trying
Little
this shit.
eyeless Annie orders Lori to tell
This girl
everyone
was
about
fucking
Fred
creepy.
Krueger, and to help her remember his name, here's a song. Yeah, I know this is like the 3rd reunion tour for the Jump Rope Girls, but I'm getting those tickets anyway. I'll take any performance I can get. Since Freddy's in Laurie's head now, he wants to try killing again. He decides to go after Blake, who graduated from the Nicolas
Great actor,
Cage
by the way.
Acting Academy.
My best friend was just
Oh wait, no,
killed.
wrong actor.
Blake's
My fault.
Alex Jones-looking dad there is played by Brett Chapman, who got killed by Michael Myers in the beginning of Halloween Resurrection. Blake drinks himself into a nap.
So this nigga just
Freddy
been in
attacks
both
him using
franchises.
Shadow Swipe. It's not very effective.
Okay. I'm alright.
Freddy tells the viewer
Nigga say,
that while
"Okay,
he still
I'm
thinks
alright."
Jason will have to keep killing. J-Man's already ahead of him as Blakey wakes to find his dad decapitated on the porch. Blake grabs the head and hilariously tries to use it as a shield when Jason murders him. Now it's time for the nightmare-flavored characters of the film, as opposed to the more
How sharp
Friday-like
is that
group of
fucking
teens
machete?
all drinking and sexing. Laurie's estranged ex-boyfriend Will and his buddy Mark are institutionalized at Weston, the psychiatric hospital from Nightmare 3 Dream Warriors. Will is played by Jason Ritter, whose dad John Ritter had just been directed by Ronnie Yu in Bride of Chucky. Mark is given an energetic performance by Brendan Fletcher, who was solid in the awful Leprechaun Origins. Will sees on the news that there was a murder at Laurie's house, so Mark uses his butt cheeks to steal some keys and they escape. At school, Laurie tells her friends about the burnt man from her dreams, and Mark shows up to keep yelling about Fred and turn Laurie into a teary baby. He also scares, whoa, Evangeline Lilly? Girl, you've got an oceanic flight to make. With a good word of Fred circulating around, Kia has a dream about him.
Got
I
your
didn't realize
nose.
this nose picking was half practical. They made a mold of Kelly Rowland's nose and designed nose innards behind it, then filmed the bit with the glove punching out and pulling off the nose in front of green screen. They also filmed real finger knives in Rowland's nose, with the glove worn by VFX supervisor Ariel Velasco Shaw. He and VFX producer Kevin
It was
Elon
actually in
tried
the
to
nose.
incorporate practical effects whenever possible, even when it came to stuff like the face-morphing tree victim in the beginning. Sometimes they ran into issues, like with the blood drops in Laurie's police station nightmare. They wanted to do those practically, but it didn't look right, not even with special prosthetics on a green screen. Doesn't look awful, considering how hard it is to fake fluids. Springwood's having a cornfield rager where glow sticks and slow motion substitute for style. Laurie, how hard are you rolling right now, girl? She's hit on by Linderman, the nerdy guy who likes her and who's always trading insults with Kia.
We don't have time for data dork right now.
You tear me down to make yourself feel better because you really hate yourself, which is kind of pathetic when you actually stop and think about it, assuming, of course, you can think. With all that makeup weighing down your head.
I don't like either of them, nor the goofy bully Shaq who holds Linderman down and douses him with beer. In fact, I wouldn't mind these characters dying. Anyone know where oh, Jason, I was just about to call you, man. Before he can get to business, a mournful Gib sneaks away to cry about her dead boyfriend. Oh, hey, Gib, there he is, as a decapitated head. Gib's played by Catherine Isabel, who we've seen in Bones in the Carrie miniseries. She's worked a ton in horror, most notably as Ginger in the Ginger Snap films. That horror pedigree doesn't stop her from falling asleep in cornfields, though. While nightmaring, she's treated to a parade of Freddy Krueger classics. When Freddy goes for the kill, Gib's chest explodes in his face. She's been impaled in real life.
I
along with
look-y
a
forgot
would-be
some of these
rapist,
deaths.
Courtesy of Jason, who chucks the guy into the air. See ya!
I forgot some of these
Is
deaths.
there a killer who's whiny he didn't get that kill?
She's mine! Mine!
Yes, there is. Listen, Fred, you're the one who ordered a murder machine. Don't complain when it shows up working perfectly. Jason keeps the kills coming with a bad-looking head twist on this random jock dude. Damn, that looks shitty. Shaq uses Everclear to light Jason on fire, which makes sense because it's high proof. But now Shaq's got a bigger problem, since Jason continues to
Burn
chase
this
him during
nigga.
a bitching
Burn this nigga, and he's unfazed, bro. He's unfazed, and this is the person that they put against Michael Myers. Michael Myers not doing shit to this nigga, bro. He's not doing shit to Jason. And I paused the video at 11:11. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you. She know who she is.
stunt. After a short chase, Jason's like, boom, throws his blade in the air for a stab.
And his
Goes
aim is
through Shaq's
insane.
Body, goddamn.
Sorry to pause a lot. I gotta say this. His Jason aim is on a fucking beam. If he sees you, you're cooked. It was another Friday the 13th movie. Came out like 2007, 2008, 9, I'm not sure. Around that time. A guy was running. I think it was a black guy. I'm not sure. It was like a random guy in the movie. The race does not matter. I don't even know how I fucking said that. But he was running. He was pretty far. He took his machete, threw it through that bitch. And it landed and hit him and he died. When the fuck did Jason get these get these feats, bruh?
Telling you the facts. of how Jason killed Shaq. Now Jason's gonna fuck up everybody's night. I'll count 8 kills here, 2 more than I did before.
Slicing that dice.
These 2 background bodies. They're not dressed like any of the other 6 kills, which are mostly pretty bad, by the way. You can see this guy's blood contraption underneath his shirt, and this dude goes down bleeding even though Jason clearly misses him. I've never been a fan of the rave massacre scene, but the more I learn about the fire stunt, the more I'm impressed. Ken Kersinger wanted to do it, but since they didn't want to risk their Jason actor, stunt performer Glenn Ennis stepped in. Ennis wore a layer of Nomex, a high-temperature resistant material, which was then slathered in fire-resistant gel. He looks like a greasy baby there. Oh, and they filled his gloves with it too? Gross. On top of the gel, an accelerant was sprayed.
They really
to
lit him on fire?
and keep the fire going. Ennis had to breathe through an apparatus in the hockey mask as he walked 75 feet fully engulfed in flames. The smoke blocked his sight.
That is goated, I'm not gonna lie. They really engulfed this nigga in flames and he... I'm not gonna lie, that was tough. That is tough.
Had to do it blind, directed by a radio in his
Blind?
ear. Watching what went into this stunt makes me more forgiving of these lame-ass kills. Who cares if a blood-spraying prosthetic is visible? They had a man on fire there. The important thing was making sure they put him out.
That was the last burn scene with Glenn Ennis, ladies and gentlemen.
Silly Willy
that is tough.
The other characters get away. He drops them off and tells Lori why he got locked up in the first place. One time, a few years ago, he watched through her window as Lori's dad killed her mom. Shitty dad, dude. Together, they go to Mark since he's their Freddy expert. But that sleepy little guy has dozed off on his feet and now he's dreaming about his dead brother. Great casting of these 2 as siblings. Brother Bobby looks just like Mark, only with yellow eyes. So help me God, yellow eyes! I'll put Bobby on the count now since we see him in his disturbing death state, murdered by Fred Krueger but deemed a suicide. Mark gets attacked in a nightmare-style scene that ends far too quickly. We all know Freddy does great work in the bathroom.
I don't like snakes.
Will and Lori get there just in time to watch Mark get murdered in his sleep. Krueger sends him out with a message and a branding that kind of looks like the Fight Club soap.
Freddy's back.
There's a summit of awful characters in the basement of Stoner Freeberg, who should probably be out looking for his missing Silent Bob.
And screw that clown. Now that big-ass motherfucker back at the cornfield. All right, that's who we should be afraid of.
They're joined by Deputy Stubbs, a newbie to Springwood, who's been kept in the dark about Fred Krueger by
this nigga's a police officer in every movie.
Williams is played by Gary Chalk, another beacon of light in the inky black turd of Leprechaun origins. Stubbs is played by Lachlan Monroe, now known for Riverdale, but to me,
Riverdale, yeah,
the Ryan Phillippe knockoff in Scary Movie. Stubbs has learned about Jason Voorhees and tells the others his backstory. Big Brain Will puts the pieces together real fast.
I mean, what if Freddy brought Jason back? Because he was too weak to go after us on his own, so he used Jason.
Shit, dude, you nailed it. That is this movie's plot. This scene is
pretty much
with the clunkiest of dialogue.
Freddy died by fire, Jason by water. How can we use that?
This wasn't part of the original script written by Mark Swift and Damian Shannon, but that thing was 100
a lot of y'all gonna die
long and would
doing
run
this.
an estimated 2.5 hours. To fix it, director Ronnie Yu brought in writer David S. Goyer, who had written Blade and who would go on to co-write The Dark Knight. He also wrote Demonic Toys. Don't ever forget that, Dave! Goyer condensed the script, giving the movie its enjoyable breakneck pace.
Making scenes that were 3 scenes before into one scene, and when you do that, that one scene becomes a lot more dramatic and a lot more interesting.
The only downside is exposition dump shortcuts, like this scene and when Freddy freaking talks to the audience.
Not strong enough yet. Well, I will be soon enough.
Test screenings, which we usually complain about, also help streamline the film. They led to the removal of long scenes with forced emotional beats and even got rid of the occasional cheesy line.
Freddy versus Jason. Place your bets.
Lori has a wee baby nightmare where her friends become mean.
Deleted footage? Oh, okay.
But she's gonna have to wait.
I don't remember that.
This Electra shit. Right now, she's got to push rapey Fred away and bring his ear into the real world. Wait, the real world? Yes, that's right. And just like
and turn to
in
maggots.
the original Nightmare, this may be the key to defeating Freddy. The kids remember Hypnosil, the dream-suppressing drug that was introduced in Nightmare 3. So they sneak into Weston Hills to steal a supply and keep themselves safe in slumber. They won't have to worry about the security guard either. That guy gets crushed with a door by Jason following them inside. During their hospital hunt, heist, Freeberg
Oh,
stays
shit.
behind to light one
Forgot.
up. Must be some heavy shit, because now this Freddy Pillar Bug Bro is here, breaking out the hookah like this were Wonderland. The Freddy
You know,
Pillar
this
almost
movie was
got
fucking
cut to save
crazy.
money, but I'm glad they kept it in. I also love seeing these hilarious pre-visualizations of the effect, and the practical maquette they used on set. After a buggy shotgun, Berg winds up with the slug down his throat, and you thought we were done with Jason Goes to Hell, didn't ya? Now Freeberg's possessed by Freddy, so he dumps all the hypnosil down the drain. Linderman stumbles upon him just in time to give this hilarious reaction.
Dude, no! Dude!
Jason joins the party
Yo.
and secures a kill with a second-hand Voorhees special. He grabs onto Stubbs and electrocutes him by means of a machete and electrical shit. I love how this doesn't seem to bother Jason one bit. J-Man chases after the others, but Freaky Freeberg
I'm
don't
telling you,
flee
this
with
Jason was on timing.
He's got 2 supersized vials of drugs and sticks them into Jason with vigor. Before the J-Man collapses completely, he slashes Freeberg in half. Oh,
Yes, I
man,
remember
that's
this.
how
He
you
cut his
treat a
ass
body
right in
you're
half.
borrowing, Fred? It's like returning your friend's car on empty. The passed out Jason winds up in a Dreamland boiler room where Freddy attacks him bathed in red light. At first it seems like Jason's got things under control, but this is Freddy's world, bitch. So let's get ready to rumble! Fred, don't scratch up the mask. Dude just got a new one. Come on.
Oh,
Freddy
shit.
plays pinball with Jason's body, thrusting him
Yes,
back
he
and
did. He
forth
was
with
in
some
timing.
booyaka booyakas. This is apparently when Freddy's stunt double was Rey Mysterio, but I can't find any details about it or clips of people
Rey
talking
Mysterio?
about it. The nightmare ends with Freddy learning that Jason has a fear of water. A plot point so stupid, Swift and Shannon vocally disown it.
I just want to put the record straight. We never said that Jason was afraid of water. We never wrote that. That was not in our script.
They had intended to suggest Jason might have a fear of drowning,
See?
but during the revision process, that got
So
changed.
it ain't shit
It's
to stop this
absurd,
nigga.
Given that we know Jason's an accomplished swimmer. He's got an underwater hang zone with naked chicks, dude.
Exactly.
He swam from a sinking ship all the way to the New York docks.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, are we sure this water isn't New York's toxic waste? Does it just turn Jason into a little naked boy? Come on, movie. Nobody wants to see this again. Freddy finger hacks Jason's brain, and I guess I'll count 8 brain bodies here. 2 in the foreground, 1 that Jason's dragging, a couple of heads
This
in
is
the
a
background,
fire
and 3
shot.
bodies floating in a closet. No, not you, Heather. I already counted you. The inner workings of Jason's
This is so
mind
tough.
required a combination of practical and visual effects. Production designer John Willett built Jason's slanting house in the middle of Bunsen Lake in Vancouver, British Columbia. Willett also recreated the Freddy house on Elm Street using a lookalike they found. I'm surprised I didn't notice it wasn't the original. I love that house. The visual effects team added the atmospherics and Compton Jason's
This is so
closet
tough.
full of floaty, soggy bodies. As with their other effects, they tried to go as practical as possible, but they often ran into issues that forced them to use CG. Like in the pinball sequence, they originally filmed the stunt performer on wires, making impact at various points. They only wanted to animate him in between the hits. But then Ronnie Yu saw a version that was all CG.
And Ronnie saw it, he's like, oh, that, I like that. That's what I want. And it became like, you want that?
The kids take Jason's passed out body and start driving from Springwood, Ohio to Crystal Lake, New Jersey, at minimum a 6-hour drive.
And this
Their
nigga
plan
woke
is to
up.
Get Jason on his home turf, where he's strongest, then pull Freddy into the real world and watch
I'd
Jason
be-
beat his ass.
nigga, I'd
Lori
shit
puts
myself.
herself to sleep so she can abduct the Fredster from Dreamland. She finds herself at Camp Crystal Lake in the 1950s, where Jason's a boy getting teased by other campers, and Freddy is a counselor who's fucking
No,
a
this
dead
was
bitch.
wild.
What the fuck, Fred? Lori tries to help Jason, but Freddy holds him down, causing him to drown in real life. He wakes up, and in the commotion, the van crashes
I
and
shit
sends him
myself.
flying. See ya. Jason disappears from Dreamworld, which pisses off Fred and turns him all sorts of red. I absolutely love this flying
This is a
Freddy
fire
stuff.
shot.
I
I'm telling you,
dig
this movie
how
was
nasty
tough.
His makeup looks here. Really cranks up a guy's evilness. Freddy's demon look was designed by Bill Terazakis, a Canadian makeup artist who worked on tons of horror movies, including Wrong Turn 2 and Final Destination 2. I was hoping to meet Terazakis one day, but while writing the script, I learned that he passed away in June at only 55 years old. Really bummed out about that. Rest in peace.
Damn.
His work here is dope. He added a layer of musculature over Freddy's classic
R.I.P.
look
Goat.
and gave him sharp teeth and scary contact lenses. Speaking of Freddy's classic look, it was applied by Pat Murray and Margaret Jaworski. The foam latex pieces were airbrushed ahead of time, then stuck on Robert Englund's face, which was covered in an adhesive.
It's evolved over the years. Now it's they wouldn't have been able to do
a single piece this large a couple of years ago.
It took 3 hours to
Facts.
put on and 1 to remove.
3
England
hours?
says the latex was porous and could at least breathe a little. Lori's stuck in a nightmare back at her house on Elm Street, and in it, she sees what really happened to her mom. Her dad didn't kill her. It was Freddy freaking Krueger.
I've always had a thing for the whores that live in this house.
Don't you call Nancy Thompson a whore, you bastard! Lori trips over some buckling floorboards that would be awesome if not for the strobing lights and choppy slow-mo.
Welcome to my world, bitch.
Fix your world's frame rate, bitch. Lori's friends carry her the rest of the way to Camp Crystal Lake, where they're shortly joined by Jason. He Kool-Aid mans his way inside a cabin and accidentally starts a fire. That wakes up Lori and allows her to grab Freddy and bring him into the real world. Now it's time for round 2 of FBJ, a relatively short Inferno match that has some decent spots. I like when Jason runs Freddy through the windows. He looks like Cabal doing an X-ray. This bout ends with Jason flinging Freddy into the air and through a roof.
Damn.
Before Lori and Fred even joined the party, J-Man
Nigga,
was
that's not
already
stopping
flinging
him,
folks around.
bro.
That's how Linderman wound up impaled through a sky, which is why he's now bleeding against a tree. I like that he and Kia were given a little arc together, even if it wasn't well executed. He tells her he'll be fine and that she should go help the others, but he was lying. He will not be fine. That dude deader than Electra's camp counselor. Kia gets back to camp and talks mad shit to Fred Krueger with some dialogue Swift and Shannon stress were not written by them. She doesn't realize that she's backing up right into Jason Voorhees.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
Again with
She
the
did her
choppy
dirty.
slow-mo.
He did her
I
dirty.
wish someone had told you, no. We're back to Freddy versus Jason again, and this last bout has got some length to it. After a regular brawl, Freddy starts launching huge tanks at the Jason.
No, this shit was crazy.
He flies backwards with a great wire stunt that lands
Jason,
him at a
I
construction
ain't gonna lie.
site. A
I can't lie.
vestige of
I'm not gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. Freddy was trying his hardest, bro. Freddy was trying his hardest. He was trying, bro. He was really fucking trying, but nigga, it's Jason. What more can you do? If this was Michael, he probably would have got through. He probably would have, you know what I'm saying? But Jason is something else, bro.
Earlier story drafts that involved a housing development subplot. Freddy impales Jason with a bunch of rebar and knocks him around silly with a swinging cement mixer. This entire final sequence was a heavy lift for stunt coordinators Monty Simons and Scott Attia. They had already dealt with the intense cornfield fire stunt and flinging Ken Kersinger out of a van spinning around on a giant gimbal. Now they had to do a ton of wire stunts, requiring the expertise of veteran stunt rigger Kurt Bond, who passed away in 2017. Rest in peace. The stunt team was grateful for the stars they worked with. Kersinger was of course a stunt coordinator himself, so professional he could finish a scene even with his foot accidentally stuck in a box. The 55-year-old Robert Englund wanted to do as much as he could, which is why that's him hanging upside down in the cement mixer and doing his own underwater shots. But for the high-flying wire stunts, Doug Chapman stepped in, meaning he's the guy who flew through the air at the awesome dodge shot. Man, that looks like it'd be so much fun to do. F and J fight back and forth until a cart launches them to the final fighting stage, the Crystal Lake docks. There, we get our biggest hits and most voluminous blood sprays. I appreciate that it's
in his setting. Like, this is literally Crystal Lake,
Don't give
bro.
me that Kevin Dunn bullshit.
Just put a camera there and let them chop each other up.
Freddy cuts off Jason's fingers, leaving him with a handful of chos. Then he takes Jason's machete and dual wields the two iconic weapons. Finally, he sticks his finger knives deep into Jason's eye holes and chest.
Yes, he was trying. That nigga Freddy was trying, bro.
She runs with a torch,
but it's Jason, bro. You can't.
Deep and lights it all ablaze. That puts the fear of God into Freddy. Because remember,
Freddy died by fire, Jason by water. How can we use that?
As the fire rages on, Jason rips off Freddy's arm. Fred sticks him deep with his own machete until an explosion goes off. It sends them flying in a stunt that earned Chapman and Ennis a nomination for a Taurus World Stunt Award. Wait, there's a stunt award show with live performances sometimes? That's awesome! Damn! Will survive, but don't you sappy sops be hugging just yet, because walking towards them with a machete is Freddy freaking Krueger. He's one-armed and pissed. Jason interferes a final time before he must go, for his people need him.
Impaled him with his own hand.
By using Fred Krueger's words against him.
And chopped his fucking head off.
She takes that machete and decapitates Freddy, killing him enough for me to put him on the count. I mean, look at that body. Look at that head.
I mean, he didn't die, but you know,
but the Fred is dead.
Pretty much.
Jason's not dead though. He's just taking an underwater nap. Here's his machete for when he wakes up. Lori and Will hobble away. The movie.
I would never
end.
give that nigga that shit.
They weren't sure how to end it though. Originally, it ended in hell, complete with an appearance from Satan. At one point, Pinhead showed up, but New Line doesn't even own that guy. One ending, written by David Goyer, was filmed with a PG-13 sex scene and Will possessed by Freddy Krueger. They settled on a simple shot of
this is the best ending.
Out of the lake carrying Freddy's head.
That hell ending would have probably been tough too, but this ending is the best ending.
They used Doug Tate to play the J-Man, as Kurzinger was in Canada. Freddy,
this nigga grew hair and shit.
By Robert Englund. Look at him in that green screen shirt. Fred gets the last laugh, literally.
He got hair and shit. This shot so tough. How many kills?
With twice as many killers, did
probably
we
like 30.
Twice as many kills as usual? Let's find out.
Get to the numbers, huh? I hope it's a high score. You're next, bitch.
Bro, I love the effort they put into videos, bro. I love the effort they put into these videos. 35? I knew it was gonna be at 30 something.
7 of them female, 21 of them male, and 7 of them unknown brain bodies floating around. Should those have even gone on the count? No, really, I'm asking, should I have done that? With a runtime of 97 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 2.78 minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Trey. Despite the stupid slow,
that one kill where he chopped him in half, it gotta have something, right?
Jason folding a guy into
this was probably the best kill.
Machete kill will go to the jock at the rave. I really don't like that effect. You can see it shift around as his body falls. And that's it. Freddy vs. Jason came out in 2003 and was a box office smash as predicted. It grossed more than any film in either franchise before it. Not everyone did, including Nightmare's creator Wes Craven, who wasn't involved with the property anymore at this point.
I found it really just kind of brutal without being very imaginative.
There was idle talk of a sequel, including one with Ash Campbell that eventually found life in comic book form, but another film never happened, and now England says he's done playing Freddy. I've got one more recount for you, the Friday the 13th reboot next week, but until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been the Kill Count.
This video is tough, I ain't gonna lie. I genuinely enjoyed this video. I'm telling you right now, James A. Janice, or is it S. Janice? I'm not sure. But James, bro, he be cooking every video with the effects, the effort, you know what I'm saying? Like you can really tell he don't half-ass his videos. You know what I'm saying? He really go deep in, count every fucking death, and then add some, like, you know, he gotta add the little cheesy jokes, but we like the jokes, you know, so we love the jokes. And the effects. Every video, there's always like some type of cameo or like an effects or like a, you know, little. I fuck with it, bro. I fuck with it, bro. The W video, I genuinely enjoyed Freddy vs. Jason when I first watched it. When I first watched it, it was probably like 10 years ago. I was like 11, and it was extremely graphic, you know, and rated R. But I watched it. I think I watched it with some like friends at the time, cause I couldn't really watch it around my parents. My parents was not playing that shit, bro. They catch me even playing GTA 5 at that time. They're like, hell nah, bro, get the fuck off the game. And I'm like, not even GTA 5, not even GTA period. And he's like, yeah, no, anything that's rated R, little nigga, you not on it. I'm like, all right, y'all got it. Leave me alone. Leave me out of this. You know what I'm saying? But without further ado, YouTube, if you enjoyed the video, as always, may you please like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to post notifications on. I mean, with these videos, I'm gonna try to turn, I know this thing to like press notifications, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna try to push notifications to y'all to see that I reacted to these videos. But without further ado, let me stop.
Yeah.